Hi, another Marky-mark video. Merry Christmas to you all. Been looking forward to doing this for a little while, and it is my top 10 vinyl finds of 2023 as we fast approach the happy holidays. Not quite finished yet from work, but never mind. So hope you're all doing well out there. This has taken me a little while to rejig and reorder. So I'm sharing this with you because I did it last year and I really enjoyed it, and it's only a bit of fun. And most of these actually are jazz titles, jazz reissues. I would say probably 90% of what I listen to is jazz. 80% maybe. So naturally, it's not unexpected to see most jazz in my top 10. With a couple of surprises. If you've watched my videos, you'll probably have a bit of a guess as to what will be coming up. I will say, as a rider, that I am not a jazz expert. I'm very new to it really, last 5 years or so. But I know what I like and usually try and procure it somehow. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at my top 10. I'm going to start off with a jazz title, working with the Miles Davis Quintet. So this was the first OJC reissue that I got my hands on during the middle of the year, and I was really pleased to have it. I got it on CD, and this is an absolutely gorgeous record. I'm going to say gorgeous and delightful quite a lot, so I'm sorry if it annoys you, but that's usually the sort of phrases that I use. I'm not going to go into any kind of technical detail, but if you don't like "It Never Entered My Mind" on side A, then there must be something wrong with you. This is a gorgeous record. They've done a beautiful job, and when I got my hands on this, and it is perfect, the actual record is perfect, it sounds lovely, I just thought, my goodness, I can't wait to get my hands on the others, which will feature in the next sort of 10 to 15 minutes. So what have we got here? Just fantastic. So Craft Recordings have done an absolute belter of a job on this. I will say they seem to have increased the size of their outer covers, because I've had to do a few adjustments getting them rehoused, but they are slightly bigger than more standard sizes. But anyway, this is gorgeous. You've got Miles Davis on trumpet, of course John Coltrane tenor sax, Red Garland on piano, the wonderful Paul Chambers on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on drums. Stunning. That's my number 10. What I would say is I think originally it wasn't that well recorded from source, but it's a stunning job. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's a great it's a home run from Kevin Gray. He's done a great job mastering that. So that's number 10. Number 9 is not a jazz album. It's this. I picked this up cheap. It's Simon & Garfunkel, the concert in Central Park, and it's on music on vinyl, which I'm very, very happy to have. I like music on vinyl. I think they're the pressing plant somewhere in Europe. It's not optimal, somewhere else I think. And this is absolutely fantastic. I got it cheap, fairly cheap, because it had a terrible couple of scene splits at the top, and I managed to fix it. I did a couple of videos of how I managed to fix these terrible seam splits, but it sounds absolutely amazing. Look at that. Fantastic. I love that gatefold picture of all these New Yorkians or New Yorkers in Central Park having a fantastic time. A lot of history here. This was one of the first major concerts, charity concerts in Central Park, as I understand, and they've carried on the tradition, I believe, and you know, it's fantastic. A really, really good record. Sounds gorgeous. Sounds like they're in the room, and you can hear everyone sort of enjoying themselves. And one of the few occasions that Simon and Garfunkel got along, only just about, before they went their separate ways. But this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very stoked to have this. I've got a bit of nostalgia for this because I was introduced to this back in 1995 on CD. So I had it on CD, and I've done a bit of A/B comparisons, and this just obviously it's just warmer, and just fills. It's a perfect double LP, and it's spot on perfect. There's no noise. It's got completely, it's got that nice dark inky spaces in between the tracks, and I'm really, really pleased to have it. I did put something on, I think it was the forums, the Hoffman forums or somewhere, asking if any of you guys across the pond are in this picture. I'm sure there's somebody who's here and knows, oh yeah, I was there, and I'm on the, but nobody really kind of got back to me. But anyway, fantastic. So that's my number 9. Number 8. This has been on quite a bit, and I'm surprised actually. This is Harold Lang Quintet, The Peacemaker. This is cool and groovy as hell. It really is, because we've got the wonderful Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes. We've got, obviously, Harold Land on tenor sax, Joe Sample on piano, Donald Bailey on drums, Buster Williams on bass. Recorded in December 1967 and February 1968. And it's been printed on the Verve reissue series by Third Man Records in Detroit. I was a little bit like, oh, there's been a few issues around quality control with Jack White's Third Man pressing plant, but I have to say, after a good clean, this is spot on, perfect all the way through. Side A starts off with The Peacemaker, and you've got this amazing, wonderful, funky track styling, 40 Love, Angel Dance, and this has been on quite a bit. This is fantastic. I'm really pleased I got this. So that's Harold Land Quintet, The Peacemaker, and 10 out of 10 for Third Man Records. Done a really good job. Really pleased with that. I might put it on later actually. So that's number 8. So number 7, a British artist who I got to see at the beginning of October, I think, live, and I wasn't quite. I was just introduced to his work. I would say it is jazz, but it's a very beautiful, gorgeous, laid back listen, and the performance was amazing. He's obviously very, very talented, probably one of these, what do they say, people are really amazing on multi-instruments. But it's this, Matthew Halsall. I bought this after the gig. If you haven't heard of Matthew Halsall, I really recommend seeking him out and having a little listen. But this is Matthew Halsall's Bright Sparkling Light. And I bought this at the show along with a couple of others. And it's just a beautiful, magical, multi-instrumental journey. It's beautiful. You can have this on. It's very accessible. And I got to meet him, and he actually signed it, but he wouldn't sign the cover. He took the record out and signed. I'm not going to get it out because we haven't got time. But really pleased with this, and it's on his Gondwana label, which is his label with his brother Daniel Halsall, and it's fantastic. I wouldn't hesitate to go and see him again if he's in the States or wherever. Look him up. And that's a 2023 pressing. It's absolutely beautiful. Anything from Matthew Halsall, and my thanks to George at Scott Spinner for putting me onto Matthew Halsall, and he's absolutely right that all his albums are absolutely amazing. So I think this is fantastic. Bright Sparkling Light, beautiful. Sorry, I recommend that. Number 6. Now, I don't know how I got to know this one, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I've played it on my radio show, and it's Masaro Imada, Planets. This is absolutely cool. It's one of those jazz albums that starts off just cool. It's very accessible again. There's some lovely write-up here about Masaro Imada. I'm not sure if he's still with us, actually. But from beginning to end, this is pure joy. I think it came up on my Facebook feed or something, or YouTube or something. And I thought, that looks interesting. I do like a bit of Japanese jazz. And what I like about this, you've got all this information about the trio and where he was born and how he got into music. There's a whole lot. You can sit here and just read all this. It's gorgeous. And it's by BBE Music, who, again, really good quality pressing. And it's just, it's just a gorgeous, cool listen. Nothing too taxing. It really isn't. It's not avant-garde in any way, but I just love this record. Mastered and cut by Frank Merritt at the Carvery, London. And yeah, I think this is a fantastic album. And so this definitely sits at number 6. The Planets by Masaro Imada Trio +1 on the BBE. What year did it come out? I think it came out last year. Doesn't matter. Well, the write-up essay is dated summer 2021, so I think that came out last year. But yeah, it's definitely part of my collection now this year, and definitely worthy of your time and money. Right, onwards. What have we got now? Number 5. Now I know this came in at number 1 on Mazzy's list. Glad to see it. It's a beautiful box set. I don't really do many box sets, but this is Eddie Ljo Davis with the wonderful Shirley Scott. Comes in this box. There we are. And we've got 4 records. And it's stunning. Again, you've got the interplay between Eddie Lockjaw and Shirley Scott on the organ, and it's on the Prestige, and it's an absolutely stonking. I mean, every one of these 4 records is again perfectly made, and each one's a bit, I would say, just funkier than the next. It's just a really fantastic listen. So if we look at this, I've cheated a bit because I put all these in one, but you've got volume 1 and volume 2. That's volume 1, volume 2, and then you've got that one, volume 3, and then Smoking. I mean, it's just sleazy, heavenly, late night, smoky brilliance. Really nice. And of course, you could just dip into any one of those and sit down with a whiskey or something, as strong, and enjoy Eddie Ljo Davis. And Shirley Scott, who was Stanley Tarentine's wife. Fantastic quality, really good. The best, my favourite is volume 2, where you starts off with the Rev, which starts off with this really sleazy saxophone from Eddie Ljo Davis, and you've got Jerome Richardson on flute, George Duvivier on bass, Arthur Edgehill on drums. This came out last year, but yeah, gorgeous. I'm so glad, and the price of it wasn't too bad. It kind of dropped from about 80 quid down to about 45, 50 quid. Excuse me, I'm suffering with a bit of a cold, a bit hoarse. So that's Eddie Ljo Davis. unbelievably brilliant. If you like the organ, something really cool. They're doing so well. Craft, really good. So number 4, I'm afraid is a double. I've got 2 records to show for number 4th place, because I think I couldn't choose between them. One of them dropped a couple of weeks ago, last week I think, when it came out, and Time for Tyner. It's this. Time for Tyner, McCoy Tyner, Tone Poet, and Extensions. And I just couldn't really. They're very different sounding. Beautiful quality. You've got Alice Coltrane on the harp on this one, and this is very spiritual, very beautiful. It's not a hard listen, but there's just lots going on, and there's just so much going on here. It's a beautiful, beautiful record. There's some great stuff here, and a lovely write-up from Andre Perry, who's the music director at Howard University, talking about how spiritual and religious McCoy is and what a fantastic guy. And it also talks about him coming into contact with Doug and Gene Kahn. I've mentioned Doug Kahn before because he did a lot of recordings for the Black Jazz label, and got a couple, Infant Eyes and something else. So you can tell there is a bit of nice, lovely level of spirituality, and it's a lovely listen. And then Time for Tyner is again something completely different. It's more immediacy in the music, more urgent, and it's just funky. I think it's quite funky, but it's a lovely record. Kicks off with African Village, which is my favourite of the album. You've got Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, and Herbie Lewis on the bass, and Freddie Waits on drums. And on this you've got Wayne Shorter on tenor sax, Gary Bartz alto sax, Ron Carter on bass, and Elvin Jones on drums. Fantastic. Really, really recommend. I was really excited to get both of these when I heard them when they dropped. That's number 4, a joint 4th. Number 3 is not a jazz album. This was bought not that long ago actually, and I bought it after I think I was a little bit merry, and I thought I'd give it a go because it looked interesting, and I couldn't find any kind of write-ups or reviews. So number 3 is this, Pearl Jam. I think I've just lost all my jazz audience. But anyway, I picked this up. It's apparently limited edition. I don't know what that means, it's rubbish. Coloured vinyl, so it's I think it's red vinyl. And it's Pearl Jam completely unplugged, the acoustic broadcast. So I believe this was recorded alongside I think it was MTV. The MTV recording, September 1992, and it's I think that's what they call a bootleg. I don't think it's an official release, but my word, after a quick clean, it is bloody brilliant. I mean, I like Pearl Jam anyway, but to hear Eddie Vedder, and it's his voice, and it's beautifully recorded. He's like in the room. And some of these amazing tracks from Pearl Jam 10. There's a few from, I think it's Versus, the second album. I was really bowled over, and when I put this list together, this top 10, I just had to add it because I was just blown away. It's on the Bauhaus label, and again, I think that must be it's made in the EU, so it must be Optimal. Maybe somewhere else. 2021 it came out, and there isn't an awful lot I could find about this. But my word, I love the interplay, the way that Eddie talks to the crowd, and he's quite politically outspoken anyway, and he talks about, this is 1992, Sorry, it was recorded in 1992. Yeah, and 1992, and he says to the crowd about the rights, rights for abortion. Women, give women the effing rights to abortion. He says, he's quite. So he's really quite outspoken. But I have to say, if you like Pearl Jam, and you see this, for God's sake, don't sit on it. You need this because it's absolutely fantastic. I've got a reissue of 10, which is shaped like a Mexican hat, and it doesn't sound particularly good. So I was keen to get another Pearl Jam record of some sort, and I'm really, really pleased with this. And that's why it's at the top, one of the top 5 in my top vinyl finds of 2023. So, number two, I think this came out in the spring of this year. It's a tone poet, and so we're back on the jazz theme now. So we're on the home straight for jazz coming through, and I absolutely love this. I'm going to play it at the next radio show. I've played it once before. It's Tartines' Mr. Natural, and it's just absolutely wicked. Lee Morgan on trumpet, McCoy Tyner on piano, Bob Cranshaw, Elvin Jones on drums, Ray Barretto. This is absolutely fantastic. This has really blown me away because it's just bloody cool. It's the most fantastic tone poet. And Stanley Turrentine is just, he's fantastic. this didn't come out until 1980, I think. It was recorded in 1964, and it just took ages for them to bring it out. I'm not sure whether they thought maybe it was too mainstream. I don't know much about it, but it took them a while to bring this out. Alfred Lyne produced it at Van Gelder Studios, and Kevin Gray, another Kevin Gray home run, really. It's fantastic. Excuse me. It starts off with this track called Wahoo, also known as Stanley's Blues, and that is just fantastic. It's brilliant. It's a beautifully made tone poet. Well, they all are. I don't buy all the tone poets. I only get the ones that I actually like. Obviously, you're not going to spend money on something you don't like, but this is great. Beautiful quality. Again, they seem to have increased the size of the covers because, I don't know, my protective houses don't fit them anymore. But anyway, look at that. And so this is absolutely splendid. This is my number 2 of this year. I can't say enough of this, really. It's so good. I think it's the interplay between these giants of jazz, Morgan, Tyner, Jones, Crenshaw. Excuse me. But yeah, number 2. So, excuse me. Should have had a drink here. Number 1. The best record that there's kind of 2 at number 1. They're both jointly amazing. And they are absolutely perfect to listen. They're absolutely fantastic. And I think if you watch my videos, you'll know what they're going to be. The OJC series, Waltz for Debbie, and Sunday at the Village Vanguard. These are... You need to get both of these. I cannot believe how good they are. The quality of them, the mastering of them, the beautiful sounds. It's live recording with the wonderful Scott LaFaro on bass, who died, I think, 9 or 10 days after the Sunday Village Vanguard was recorded. Beautiful. It's unbelievable how good these records are. I can't say enough about them. The detail that comes out of the speakers, the the background noises of the crowd. Very gentle, very subtle, very beautiful. There's no, I mean, it's just a delight. I have this on, I have these on both together, one after the other. And yeah, it can really turn a grey, negative day into a really lovely, positive, happy. These are gorgeous. These are never going to go anywhere. They are so good. I'm so pleased with Craft OJC because they've absolutely made perfect records in my opinion. These are absolutely spot on, gorgeous. I can't say enough about them. So that's my number one. These are a joint number one. Waltz for Debbie and Sunday at the Village Vanguard. So that's it. That's a Marky-mark wrap, end of the year. I'll be interested to hear your comments, what your thoughts are, whether you feel similar or not. And I look forward to seeing you all next year for some more Marky-mark vinyl finds. Take it easy, enjoy your holidays, and keep spinning. Take care. Bye.